In a way, our next few discussions, you guys, are semi-COVID related. We mentioned last week with all of these airlines around the world parking their planes, there is a good chance that some of the fleet types that we love might never fly again. And it's been a very trying time right now as we see these early retirements. Today, our focus is on one plane, the MD-88 and the MD-90s.
The MD-88s were already planned to be phased out by the end of this year, and the MD-90s by the end of 2022. Delta's CEO Ed Bastian said that the retirement of the MD-88, MD-90 is going to be expedited. Our friend Nate texted me last night and said that he saw somewhere that apparently 10 Maddogs are going to survive on the backside of this.
So Doug has already written the obituary for the Delta MD-80-90, but then we got some news that they may still operate. You guys in the U.S., if you want to fly an MD-80, MD-90 by a U.S. carrier, you better hurry. I know I'll be booking my seat as soon as I can.
Yeah, and I'll try and join you.
So I just asked my partner, hey, there's an MD-90 that comes to Dulles every night. Would he be okay if I just did a quick day trip to Atlanta? I'll wear a mask, I'll stay away from the other customers. And he was like, absolutely not. So
yeah,
not time yet.
Smart.
I think some of the av geeks, they're willing to roll the dice and fly right now, but we really shouldn't. Delta's going to have their last MD-80 flights, according to what they're saying, this month. I mean, we'll see how everything plays out with the essential travel and whatnot. Our friend Doug, who's an essential employee, has a flight he has to go on. The only flight he could book was on MD-80s.
Drew, you and I have talked about this for the last couple of months, that the 88 and the 90 are going away, and there was no way that I was going to get a flight on this.
I'm at seat 33A on a Delta MD-88 right next to the engine, and it is loud. It is an Abbey extreme. Amazing views of the wing and the engine on departure, and man, these engines were so loud on takeoff. It was awesome. I wouldn't trade this experience for anything.
This is a trip that had been on the books for a long time, and I just thought that it was going to get canceled. I showed up to work on Thursday and was told by my boss that it was approved. Book your tickets. You guys are going on Tuesday. Oh, by the way, I'm booked on the double 88.
Guys, this is the Mad Dog Madness episode to appreciate this iconic MD-80 workhorse. It's a twist of fate that our Doug, quote unquote, had to do this essential work trip, which was scheduled last minute. Okay, you guys, Doug getting to fly not on one, but two MD-88s last week is a big deal. Why? Because they, along with the MD-90, are being retired on Tuesday.
Regarding the MD-88s, Delta's done a really good job of updating the interior and keeping the interior nice maintenance-wise. They even put brand new seats in about 6 or 7 years ago. But that said, it hasn't exactly been high marks for PAX-X for the passenger experience.
It looked pretty nice.
Yeah, it's not bad, but compared to seatback screens on some of the 737s and Airbuses and power in the seats, it's an older airplane.
So Doug sent me a little snippet of the takeoff, and I was happy for Doug, right? I wasn't jealous, but when I saw that, I was like, oh man, I so wish I was on that plane.
Yeah, and that's why avgeeks love it, because it's loud and it's clunky, and that takeoff was incredibly loud. It is bumpy as heck on takeoff. I feel like we felt every single crack in the runway, and it was awesome. It was so cool. The last flight was perfect. We cloud surfed the entire flight. Those late afternoon, mid-afternoon, East Coast summer thunderstorms that pop up with the cumulonimbus clouds, we were dodging them the entire way. I had my eyes glued out the window the entire flight.
Now we're getting way into this. We may lose some of the avgeeks, but last one with square windows. Windows are kind of square from your picture.
They are, yeah. There was no food or beverage service, but they handed out a bag with water, hand sanitizer, and snacks.
Did you feel like it was a choppier ride than a 737 or an Airbus?
I wouldn't say it was choppier, but you could definitely feel the movement of the airplane more.
What were your final thoughts?
It was really poetic. When I departed Atlanta, it was raining really heavily, and it kind of set the mood. Like, hey, this is the last week of it. Avgeeks, at least you're sad. And then when we landed back into Atlanta, it was raining as well. Right. So it matched the emotion kind of from start to finish.
Let's talk about the MD-80. Here's some quick facts.
The MD-80 series of aircraft was developed by the Douglas Aircraft Company in the 1970s as a larger version of their DC-9 series. The aircraft was designed for frequent, short-haul flights carrying between 130 and 172 passengers. Initially, the MD-80 was called the DC-9-80 and DC-9 Super 80. Swiss Air was the launch carrier for the aircraft. The first test flight took place on October 19, 1979, and was delivered to Swiss Air on September 13, 1980.
Delta received the MD-88 in the spring of 1987 and was the launch customer for the MD-90 in 1989. Now, Delta at one point operated a total of 189 Maddogs, which included 128-88s, 68-90s, and for a short time they had 1-82. Before COVID, it was widely expected that Delta would have a send-off party for the Maddog, much like American did last fall for their MD-80s.
Pretty sweet being down here on the tarmac, checking out the MD-80s with all the other avgeeks. It's really loud, but it's awesome.
Yep, life-changing experience.
Very cool.
Unfortunately, this isn't the case, but having one of us fly on them in the final week is the next best thing. So Doug, I'm glad you're able to do that.
We're about 30 minutes out from Atlanta, about to begin our initial descent. This is my last ever flight on a Delta MD-88, an airplane that I've flown dozens of times over the years. The passenger in me isn't going to miss it, the passenger experience isn't great, but the avgeek in me is absolutely going to miss it. The nostalgia, the history, everything that it's meant to the airline, to the industry, and to me personally over the years. So thank you so much, McDonnell Douglas and the MD-88 and even the MD-90 for everything that you've done. It's been a pleasure.
I was talking to the flight attendant on my last flight. She told me about the last MD-88 flight on Tuesday, and Drew, where is it from?
Thanks to this flight attendant, we learned it was from Dulles. Now, I don't want to say that, all the stars are aligned for us to make the story. What are the odds? Doug gets his travel restriction lifted, and he gets to fly MD-88s the week before they retire. And then he finds out on board that the last flight for this iconic aircraft is going to be from my airport.
country, everyone. This is Delta Flight 88, operated with aircraft November 900 Delta Echo. So it's going to push back, and it's going to start taxiing to the west, and we'll get a water cannon on the way in.
Thank you, Maddog, for everything you've done for so many passengers over the years. I can't even imagine how many families you've connected, how many people got to travel with you for leisure or for work. You were a workhorse for many years, so enjoy your retirement. I wish I was able to fly with Delta on one of their Maddogs before their early retirement, but I'm glad Doug was able to, and I'm very grateful for being a part of this video and for this collaboration. The AFGEEK community is going to miss you, Maddog. I know I'm going to miss you too.